Hey Tony, it's Wednesday. I told you yesterday, unfortunately, it wasn't really going to work yesterday. Skylar just went to bed way too late, and I had so many chores I had to do yesterday. I'm working from home tomorrow, so I have less chores to do tonight because I can do them kind of during my lunch tomorrow. But so to answer your question of the week, I have an idea for a list. I have a concept of a list, and I think it's kind of toxic, but I think it's kind of funny. I messaged my friend who's running it to ask him if he thinks it's too toxic for it, but it's I'm not taking this tournament seriously, and I'm playing someone who's never played Legion before. So I think this is going to be interesting. But this is my list: Obi-Wan Kenobi, Clone Commander Cody, and then 4 standard Clone Trooper cores, 3 of which having medics. And Obi-Wan and Cody both having vigilance, which can let you save 2 dodge tokens for for a core unit. So I can basically make sure that any dodge units that I like, any dodge tokens that I have, can pretty much remain in play for the entire game until they're used. There's also, mind you, with some of what I have with it is which I have Obi-Wan with Force Barrier, so he can block a lot of shots towards the flank that I'll be handling. Cody, who has portable scanner, so that's take cover too, so he can basically give 2 dodge tokens every single turn. And I think it's going to be silly. It has very little offense, but I think I think it's going to be silly. And I think what could be fun is giving Jeff, who my friend I'm playing with, a super aggro list. So you have my side with all about defense and range, and then his side that's basically like, it might be like an Anakin 501st 600 point list where it's basically like Anakin, then arcs, and nothing but arcs. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. Like, the fact that you can only have 600 points is a little bit limiting, but I think it's going to be fun. And I think my list is awful, but I think it's going to be just hilarious. And I'm sure people I'm going to be playing are going to kind of laugh a bit about that. So some ideas. I might change that. I tend to play a little more aggro, so the fact I'm doing this much of a passive list is my thought currently is different. So that's not something I'm very used to, but we'll see what happens. So, but yeah, so there's that. So my next thing I want to talk about is actually so we got some really big news for our case. Obviously, the case that I told you about, that we filed on January 2nd, to have all of us put on Skylar's birth certificate, all of us given legal rights as parents, and everything like that. And I know I told you about this the other day, but I was saying in the video as well. We have our trial date. Our trial date is scheduled for March 18th, which means on March 18th, because it's an uncontested trial, we're all, unless the judge does something completely out of left field, we're all going to be deemed legal parents for Skylar, which is so cool. We're the first in the state, probably. Like, we had literally, like, in our county, we had the docket numbers 001 and 002. And from what I understand from other registers within the state, no one else did it that early. So it's kind of cool that we're probably the first in the state, and we've done a little bit of looking into it. We think we might be the first to do 4 parents in the country. I don't know that for sure, but there's a real possibility. Like, there are certainly a lot of situations where there was, like, 3 parents. Well, not a lot, but there have been certainly a handful of situations where there are 3 parents. We think we might be the first for 4, and that's just cool. Like, it's so historical that this is happening, and I'm really really excited to see what's going to happen going forward. I'm hoping that this opens the door for a lot of, polyamory situations where they have children and they want to all have parental rights of the child. And I think this is pretty cool. I was telling, a couple of our friends, like Jeff and Paige, we might be actually put in textbooks going forward in the state regarding four parent cases and things like that. And I think that's kind of neat. Of course, I made the joke that will be, historical footnote, but it's still really cool, and I'm really excited to see what's gonna happen. So Tony, my question for you is, what do you think of that list? Do you think that list is toxic? I think I might end up like putting Boyle in as well to make sure I have even more toxicity with more and more Guardian, but I haven't decided on that one yet. But Tony, I'll see you on Friday. Later, bro.